My name's Lucienne. I'm the training manager for Positive About Down Syndrome and Down Syndrome UK. So we're now going to welcome, and we're going to show you our webinar today is about life with Down syndrome in the 21st century. So I'm hopefully going to share my screen and we'll be able to get going, hopefully, with no technical hitches. So hopefully you can see this screen. And so yes, our webinar this month is about what life is like with Down syndrome in the world today. It's coinciding with Down Syndrome Awareness Week, which was last week. So we've got these guys here going to tell you all about their lives and, you know, the exciting things that we did last week. So as I say, I'm the training manager for Positive About Down Syndrome, and I'm joined today by Caroline Turner, who's our maternity manager, as well as being a regional maternity coordinator for the North East and Cumbria. And she's just going to walk you through our new website in case you hadn't seen it, just to you know, so that you know what's available to you in your, you know, to help you in your jobs and to signpost any families that you come across. So very excited to be joined by these lovely people. We've got Sophie and Charlotte, who are twins, and we've got James and we've got Ed, and they are all advocates and campaigners for Down syndrome, and they're going to tell you all about their lives. So just as a background, sorry if you've joined us before and you know all about Positive About Down syndrome, but just in case you haven't, Positive About Down syndrome is a national run charity. We come under the umbrella of Down Syndrome UK, another national charity. We've been going about 6 years now. And we are also involved, Nicola and I are also involved in the National Down Syndrome Policy Group, as are these guys, these young people with Down syndrome. They are in our advisory group. But as an organisation, Positive About Down syndrome supports both families and professionals. We're a parent-led charity, so as such, we consider ourselves to be the experts through experience. We know what a good maternity experience is and should be, and we provide information to both parents and professionals. Basically, we're empowering women to make sure that they know what a good experience you know, should be, but we're also empowering maternity professionals to make sure they're able to deliver, you know, that good service. So we provide so much support for our families throughout the UK, and we provide expert advice. This is not just, you know, as you know, parental advocates, it's also professional advice. Most of the professionals that we have on our closed Facebook groups are also parents of children with Down syndrome, but there isn't any expert advice that we're unable to provide parents, to be honest. We're gathering experts from you know, each specialisation. And we provide training to professionals like this, but we also have information sharing sessions for parents on anything that you know, they're worried about. For example, you know, toilet training, we have an eye specialist, we have Makaton signing. I would say there isn't anything that we don't do, to be honest. So we also involved in campaigning and lobbying the government. We were fundamental in assisting Dr. Liam Fox in the production of the Down Syndrome Act 2022 in England. Just to put things in perspective, so you can, you know, in a moment, our young people with Down syndrome are going to speak to you, but this is how life used to be like. That the Down syndrome was first discovered by a Victorian doctor, Dr. John Langdon Down, and the life expectancy at that time was only 9 years old. And it, you know, throughout the timeline, life with Down syndrome has not been that great. You know, the life expectancy wasn't good, and people with Down syndrome were considered not to be able to be taught, that they weren't able to learn. So it was due to a lot, you know, medical advances, mainly cardiac surgery advances, but also the research done by Professor Sue Buckley and others, that it was determined that people with Down syndrome actually have a specific learning profile. And as long as we know that, there's no reason why they can't learn all of their lives. So, you know, life today with Down syndrome is a good life, as these guys will tell you, and they you know, the life expectancy and the quality of life has massively improved, mainly down to improvement in healthcare and all that research into education. Also, I guess because they've had people with Down syndrome now have hopefully a good education, there are opportunities for work, and also teaching people with Down syndrome to be independent and living an ordinary life, basically what everybody would want. So as these guys, I don't need to tell you all of this because these guys will tell you, but most people with Down syndrome now, they want to leave home, they want to get a job, they want to live independently, and that is what they are achieving. So I'm going to hand you over to Charlotte and Sophie, who are going to tell us about their lives, and hopefully, with technology, you'll be able to see them on your screen as well. So over to you two.
Okay. Hello. Hi. I'm Sophie and I'm Charlotte. We're 28 and as Lou said, we're twins. Yes. And we've lived together our whole lives. Charlotte is in fact the older twin by 2 minutes, and she likes to remind me of that quite often. Yes. So I work full time. Fortunately, I have a job where I can work from home part of the time, and I work in an office the other part of the time, which is really convenient because I'm Charlotte's full-time guardian, and we live together, just the two of us. But Charlotte also works. I do. I'm a part-time retail assistant into fashion. What do you do at work? I just look after the till and look after the shop, all tidy. That's what I do. And do you want to talk about your Christmas temp job that you had? Also, my temporary job was booze in Sutton. I had that surprise job because it was really good to work there. Yeah, that's right. What kind of things did you do? I just done packing the boxes and put the labels on top of them as well. Yes. And most importantly, did you get paid? Unfortunately, I found that I didn't. I did got paid, and it was a surprise news. But fortunately, I had to end up a contract, and I was a little bit overwhelmed by that, but it's okay. So it was a Christmas temp position, but it was a great first step into the world of paid work. Right. Yes, it was. And then what else do you do in the week? What do you do on a Wednesday? On the Wednesdays, me and Lou, I always work together in the Get On Dance group. I would support all the parents and do them tea and coffee if they want. That's what I do. And then, so growing up with Charlotte, obviously, as I say, we've lived together our whole lives. We're twins, so we couldn't be closer. It's definitely made me more conscious and more understanding and aware of people with learning difficulties. And I'm very confident that it's made me a much better person than I maybe would have been if I didn't have Charlotte as my sister. I can't believe that. When we were younger, we went to the same primary school up until about age 9, where Charlotte then moved to a school for people with learning difficulties to get kind of extra one-to-one support that you needed. You stayed at your school till sixth form. I did, yes. And then has done 6 years of college. So what kind of things did you do when you were at college? All the courses I was involved with, like maths, English, I do that. And adding numbers, that's what I do as well. And listening to my teachers as well. And what about life skills? And life skills, we always go out, different places as well. Yeah. Yeah. So your life skills course helped you get work experience. It did, yes. And get prepared for the world of work. Yes, it does. So as well as working, last week was quite an exciting week for Charlotte, and I think some of the other young people with Down syndrome. Where did we go last week? Camper 10 Downing Street. And what did you speak about there? The media start, I had to say a few words to say to her and to get everyone on board what I said. And that's to get the voices of people with Down syndrome heard, is that right? Yeah, that's why, it's important. And we also were fortunate enough to go to Westminster to kind of a tea party to celebrate World Down Syndrome Day. That's right. So that was a big week. It was, in Farnham. yeah, and as I've said, obviously me and Charlotte, we live together.
Yeah.
So we share our jobs, we
Yes,
share
we
our
do.
chores.
Yes.
We are not really very much different to any other young adults that kind of cohabitate, kind of
Yeah.
house share. So we're just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Is that everything that you want to say?
Yeah, I think so. Anything else, Char?
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank
Thank you, you two. Yes, Charlotte volunteers at my Down syndrome support group in Sutton. So she doesn't just support the parents, she chats to the parents and she sings to the babies, and they love it, don't they, Charlotte?
Yes, they do, actually.
Okay, thank you, you two. I really appreciate that. So I'm now going to move on to Ed. If you're there, Ed.
Oh yes. Thanks, Lou. Hi everyone. I'm Ed Daly. I'm 24 and I live in the Stafford-some-Moorlands with my family. I like keeping fit. I swim and I go hill walking. Here are a couple of photos of me last year walking up Snowdon with my dad. I have an allotment. I've been busy there this week reading and getting ready to plant spuds. Here are some photos from last year's growing season. I'm the #1 supporter of my local football club, Leek C SOB. This is a photo of me supporting the lads. Although I've got a hot shop here, I do love a pint with the lads after a good win. I also like to sit and relax reading. So that's my hobbies and interests. Now for my work. I'm one of the lucky 5% of people with a learning disability to have some paid work. From last November, I have been employed as a ranger 1 day a week by Severn Trent Water. This is me on site in my uniform, looking very handsome. Every time I go to work, I feel more independent, and I feel valued. Teamwork is my favourite part of a job. I learn a lot that way, and I love the social side of things. I've got 2 mottos for teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work, and many hands make light work. I also volunteer 1 day a week with the Severn Trent Water Working Party, doing group conservation tasks like path maintenance, hedge laying, and recently we've done a lot of ash dieback work. Another new and big part of my life is being a member of the advisory group to the NDSPG, which is where I met Lou, Charlotte and James. I joined the group last year as I wanted to change the fact that too many of us with Down syndrome don't get the support and opportunities we need from our local authorities, health authorities, schools and colleges. The guidance under the Down Syndrome Act 2022 will hopefully ensure our specific needs are understood and appropriate provision is made for us. During the consultation period on the guidance, I was a facilitator at the meetings with the civil servants in Westminster and Leeds. And last week, we had an amazing few days in London. On World Down Syndrome Day, we were invited to afternoon tea in the Terrace Pavilion in the Houses of Parliament. It was so exciting walking through Westminster Hall and Central Lobby, which you see on the news. We ran a human library telling our stories on health, education, social care and housing, and employment. I told my story on employment to several supporters, campaigners, and MPs too. They were all very interested and impressed. I also gave one of these speeches from the podium. I felt very honoured to be there and to be heard by MPs and peers. It was a fantastic way to celebrate our special day together and to keep momentum going for the next phase of the guidance. Then 2 days later, 10 of us were invited to a roundtable meeting with the Under Secretary of State for Health and Social Care inside number 10 Downing Street. We were all very excited. There were a lot of security checks. We all put a question to the minister, which she answered. We then had a quick tour and we saw Larry the cat. When we came out of Downing Street, we were met by our supporters taking photos and wanting to hear how it had all gone. It had gone really well, and I just took it in my stride. From Whitehall, we went back to Parliament again, but this time to the House of Commons to sit in a debate on Down syndrome. My local MP came into the chamber and called out my name and paid tribute to me and my mum. I couldn't believe it. When the minister came to speak, she also called out all of our names who had been at the round table meeting. I was overjoyed by everything that happened. I travelled back home that evening and went to work the next day, and then watched my football team win at the weekend. It was like it had all been a dream. It was an unbelievable experience.
Oh, thanks, Ed. Oh, sorry, you carrying on. Carry on.
I've finished.
Oh, you finished. Oh, good. Thank you. Sorry, I hope I didn't interrupt then. Thanks for sharing that, Ed. As you can all hear, these young people have had a very exciting week last week. Thanks for describing that, Ed. That was amazing. You described it so well. I've got photos coming up after we speak to James, and you'll be able to see what these guys did last week. So James, if you're there, hopefully you can share your story about your life and your life with your lovely wife Heidi and your jobs. Are you there?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
So, just to let you know about these pictures, one of them's at the gym showing my muscles, and one of them is mine and Heidi's wedding when it was the COVID-19 one. We had to cut down from 30, can't remember the exact. And then this one here was at Zizi's celebrating our love to each other.
Brilliant.
And this one is at my new job, which I will say in my speech. Okay,
Yeah, off you go, James.
I am James Carter, and I am 29 years old. And I also have Down syndrome. I live with my amazingly beautiful wife Heidi, and I absolutely enjoy my amazing life doing all the things that I love doing with Heidi. I love going out to the cinema, going out for many meals, and I like being independent. I love going down to Weymouth by train, as we are both independent travellers. And I love cooking as well. I also have a new job, which is on the screen, in a cafe as a waiter at Coventry City Mission. And I love it there so much. I serve all the lovely customers and charming them. I also bring the hot food out to them, and I also make them teas and coffees, and I also do the clearing of the dirty plates and cups. I also have a free lunch. Yum! Last week we had chicken pasta bake. I also stay a bit late to do all the clearing away and do the hoovering. I absolutely love our new house, which is on the screen there, where me and Heidi. Sorting out all the stuff from our old place, and it's so much bigger now. We both wanted to have a bigger house because I wanted to have a garden so we can both move around in. And hopefully I can have my own little shed outside as a man cave, so I can do some carpentry that I love doing. I also would like to do a bit more gardening as well. My dad used to be a gardener in Dorset, and I want to be like him. We also have support staff from Monday to Wednesday, and her name is Katie, who is a friend of ours from church, who helps us both to support us to do all the jobs, cook, clean, and maintain in the house, and she puts us both in order. So here, before I go ahead with the last bit, is I am a part of the advisory group, as well as Lou and Ed and Charlotte. And I also went to the Down syndrome day in Parliament Tea Party, and I really enjoyed it there, did my speech and everything. And also we went to 10 Downing Street as well with the MPs, with Charlotte and everyone else, and I really enjoyed it. I am also a part of the NDSPG, as I am an ambassador for it. We also help them to support them with the World Down Syndrome Act.
Brilliant. Is that what you want to say, James? Brilliant.
The Down Syndrome Act is about having better healthcare and education. It will help other people with Down syndrome, and it will improve their healthcare and education services. The NDSPG stands for National Down Syndrome Policy Group, as you all didn't know. Thank you for listening.
Oh, brilliant, James. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. That was all very clear as well, explaining about the National Down Syndrome Policy Group, which you're all part of. Thank you very much. I put that picture in that you gave me, James, of your lovely spiral staircase, because I know that's a big feature in your new house. So as they've all said, now this is a collective picture, so you can actually see what they got up to last week. They are all part of the National Down Syndrome Policy Group advisory group, and James is part of the actual National Down Syndrome Policy Group along with Heidi. And this is them outside number 10. They got a really good opportunity to go inside number 10 to talk to Maria Caulfield, the Undersecretary for Health and Social Care. And as Ed and James said, both of them actually did a speech at the reception celebrating World Down Syndrome Day. And as Ed explained, we had a human library where we had young people with Down syndrome on each section, including education, healthcare, employment and social care. And they all shared their stories. And we're hoping that the Down Syndrome Act will make a big difference for people with Down syndrome. And this was a great opportunity for them to get their voices heard. And that's why they're here today, to tell you what they get up to, and again, getting their voices heard. So that is them. So I'm going to move on now to Caroline Turner, who's going to walk you through our website and show you the signposting that might help you in your jobs. But if you guys could hang around and answer any questions at the end, that would be great. Okay, so handing over to Caroline.
So we're going to attempt, hello everybody, we're going to attempt a fairly slick screen share swap. Are you able to stop your screen share and I'll go on to mine, Lou? Is that all right?
Yep, I've stopped.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. I hope you can see that. So Positive About Down Syndrome had begun as a website, as I hope quite a lot of you know and have already had access to. And we still have our original Positive About Down Syndrome website up and running, and that's a really important focus for our families who have new babies or expectant families, and also for you as healthcare professionals as well, to signpost new and expectant families too, because it shares their stories. And it allows them to find out that, you know, there are lots of families like them all around the country who've had the same experiences. However, Down Syndrome UK, which is the umbrella charity of which Positive About Down Syndrome is a part, is significantly bigger than that. And so as a result, we in February this year launched our exciting new DS UK website, which incorporates every aspect of all of the work that we do. So I'm going to very briefly just talk you through some of the sections that will hopefully be useful to you as maternity or healthcare professionals working with families. So as you can see, we've got a wide section at the top of aspects which cover things that parents will need to know, aspects of health, education, resources and events and training. And we do deliver a huge amount of services to families across the country. So initially, there is a nice, easy to navigate homepage which allows parents, professionals and supporters of the charity to find the things that they need. Now I'm just going to scroll a little bit further down, because if you're a maternity healthcare professional, this is a really useful part for you, because it's that right there on the homepage. It allows you to order packs of our resources really quickly and easily with a click, and then a small order form to fill in. So you can get your Positive About Down Syndrome resources, our posters, postcards and so on, delivered straight to your settings. I'm just going to scroll down a little bit further because I want you to see that right down at the bottom here. This is part of the reason why we moved on from just having a Positive About Down Syndrome website to Down Syndrome UK, because we cover so much more than just Positive About Down Syndrome. In addition to the work we do with new families and with maternity professionals, this initiative is called STAR, which is supporting families who have primary school age children. Our Pants for School is a really successful and well recognised programme which supports families who have babies right up until into school age, trying to ensure that they've got all the support they need and all the resources they need to enable their children to start school in pants and be toilet trained. There is an awful lot of information and support in there. So if you do happen to be a healthcare professional working with older children, working with families with toddlers, if you're a health visitor, that's a really great resource for you to have a look at. Our DS UK network signposts families to and healthcare professionals also to local support groups across the country. There is a wide network of local support groups in every area of the UK which provide local support to families. I'm just going to flick back up and into there are lots of different ways to get to the different aspects of the information, but what we would be looking at here first of all is for the parents who are expecting a baby, similarly to the aspects of the website Positive About Down Syndrome. Here it allows parents to join our Facebook groups, which provide a huge amount of support. The Great Expectations group is a link there for families who are expecting a baby who has a confirmed result or a high chance result of having Down syndrome. And also there are our get in touch buttons so that it's really easy for parents to contact us too. Parents can also, and you as healthcare professionals too, can also really quickly and easily order our Nobody Told Me book. And there's an online link to our book there as well. So there's an ebook available for you. Our Nobody Told Me book is a great resource too for you as healthcare professionals to signpost families to, because it tells families a huge amount about the different life experiences of a wide range of families who have a person in their family, child or adult, who has Down syndrome. An awful lot of experience from those families, and hopefully that will provide a really positive view of what it's like to live with Down syndrome in the 21st century for new families. So a really easy resource there to get onto. We also have huge amounts of support and information about things like breastfeeding and health issues that babies may have when they're born, and we want to make sure that parents can easily access that. So again, that's something that's easy for parents to access there in that first section. We've got a really wide range of health issues that we know some of our children and adults do have, and we wanted to bring that all together in one place so that it really is quick and easy for parents to find out the information that they need. We know a lot of our families, don't experience a lot of the healthcare issues on here, but we wanted to make it really easy for parents to gather that information. Similarly, in education, all the different areas of education, their preschool, primary school and secondary school are covered. So parents and professionals, educational professionals too, can quite quickly get that information and get those resources too. I'm just going to flick onto the maternity care section because I know that will be relevant to quite a few of you, just really quickly. So as I said again, the maternity care page allows you to signpost parents to all of our different groups. Whilst we know that quite a few of our groups are promoted quite widely, such as for expectant parents and for new parents, we also do have a wide range of other groups for dads and grandparents and so on, and also for yourselves as healthcare professionals too, to join our Facebook group. Our Facebook group collection is wide and varied and provides an awful lot of support and information. So I hope that will be useful to you to know that it's really easy for you as healthcare professionals to get onto that website, find things like our antenatal care pathway, to download that, to get your maternity packs, and also, as Lou was mentioning earlier on about the training which she delivers as training manager, you can really easily, again, contact Lou, find out more about the training that we provide too. There is a huge amount more in the website than I've shown you there, and it would take me an awful lot longer to explain every aspect of it. It's those, I think, are probably the key parts for you as healthcare professionals to know about for signposting to families.
Brilliant, thank you. The website was only launched in February, which is why we thought it would be really useful for you to have a quick whistle stop of what's involved. Also, it can be translated into many languages. It's got the feature at the top, because this is one of the things that we come across, is that it's difficult to support those families where English isn't their first language. The website, the information on the website can be translated into many languages.